Alrighty, so welcome back to week 2 of geography. How has everyone's first week been?
It's been actually pretty okay.
Busy? Pretty crazy? Okay. We've got a couple of announcements, just being in discussion stuff before we get into class today. First of which is your grade snips. So some of you have been asking where to turn in your grade snips. I know some of you are new to college, some of you are not. You need to turn in your grade snips to Miss Cox, to her email. So Celeste Cox, you need to turn those into her. What you need to do is take a snip or screenshot of your grades, not a phone pic, and don't just send her a list of your grades. You actually need to send her a snip of it so she can see from your website that those are the authentic grades, and then she will put those in. I just finished up discussion grades, so those should be up. If you are missing a discussion grade, I probably put some feedback. I've got about 3 or 4 students across the campuses who did not turn in their discussions or did not submit them, so check that. Word on that, by the way, for late homework assignments from here on out, week 1. If you missed something for week 1, email me and I will let you have it, but after week 1. If you do not turn it in at all, it's a 0, and if you turn it in late, it is a late grade. That is welcome to college, you know, so if you can't handle it, all due respect, get out. And I don't mean that in a mean way, I want you all to stay, but I'm just saying if that's your attitude is, well, I'm just not going to do the work, okay, cool. So I don't think that's anyone's attitude, but just a heads up, that's coming up. So check for your week 1 assignments, make sure everything's been turned in. I'm going to go over something regarding the discussions too. I know this was a bit confusing and the syllabus is a bit weird about it, so I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. So discussion posts. This little chart here is going to sort of give you an indication. So every single week you're going to be reading how many chapters? 2 chapters. Very good. Okay, so every week you're going to have 2 videos per chapter, meaning how many videos? 4 videos, yeah, and that can be any combination of the videos from each chapter. Now, with that saying, you're going to have 1 response per video, so how many main responses? 4. And I've seen that with most people. A couple of you only have 1, check. So you're going to have 4 main responses, and then finally, you're only going to have 1 reply per chapter. So you do not have to do 2 replies for each video post, just 1 reply for one of the 2 videos, and that's all I need to see. So a total of 6, 4 main and 2 replies. Yes, sir?
So is there a 2 reply limit?
If you want to reply more, you are welcome to. Okay. So yeah, I think I had another student ask me about that, saying, well, can I reply to more than 1 student? If you want to, you may. Absolutely. Don't overdo it, because you don't want to spend too much time on that assignment. Better to get it done and move on to the next, because even though the work is not hard, there is quite a bit of it, especially with the journal responses. Another quick announcement on journal responses, by the way. Most of you got it right. The thing I want to see at the end of your paragraph and in the middle of your paragraph is your textbook citations. So even though it's a reflection or even if it's a journal, you still need to be using your textbook. So make sure at the end you've got a works cited that's got your textbook. If you want to use more sources than your textbook, you may, but make sure your textbook is included. Any questions on that one? Okay. Yes, sir?
So we need to be using sources in our like journal entries?
Preferably the textbook as a source. Okay. You don't have to use more than the textbook, but you do need to use the textbook at least.
Is there like a certain number we should like a source of?
I would say 1 or 2 citations in the paragraph. Just that way I know that you are reading it and that you are providing feedback. Now, just about everyone I think got 100 on this first journal because it's more of a personal reflection. So provided you got the word count in and provided you explained yourself, it was an easy 100. Yes?
Email for Ms. Cox.
That is a great question, and off the top of my head, I do not remember, but if you will get with her, or if you need to ask her for email, she will give it to you. Yeah, oh, yes?
I believe it's the coming admin.
It might be, oh, the coming admin, okay, so the coming admin address then, thank you.
And
You're
then
right.
whoever can send.
Yes, real quick, okay. So, a couple other things we're going to be doing. I'm going to be switching up the lesson plan a little bit. There's something that came up on YouTube that I watched it, and it is absolutely amazing, and it is current with world geography and with current times. And it is a half-hour video. We're not going to watch the whole video today, but we're going to be watching snips of it throughout the semester, and I maybe, don't quote me on it, but I may provide an extra credit assignment regarding this video. It is a 30-minute video about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Now, I know you've seen a bunch of new stuff about, oh, who cares? This video specifically is about the geography of it. And the guy who goes over it, he's got like 15 million views right now. He has covered his base. He has explained himself so well. about why Russia right now may have invaded Ukraine, and he explained like 30 minutes of just the geography of the differences between Ukraine and Russia and the resources that are available. It is an amazing video, very detailed. So we'll be watching snips about it. We might include it in our in-class discussions. We'll probably do that toward the end, so it's like if we get to it, great. If not, that's okay. I will try to find a way to provide the link to this video, either through Ms. Tori or perhaps on the college website. We'll figure that out. And if I do come up with an extra credit assignment, I'll let y'all know probably within the last 2 weeks of school. It'll be a last 2 weeks thing. It won't be super hard, but if you're suffering on grades or you just want to bump your grade up, I might do something where I drop, or like I add 10 points to one of your lowest quiz grades, something like that. But it's a great video, and it is perfect for this class because it's relevant to today. It's all about geography, and it's just perfect. So we'll get to that. We're going to cover a video on email or on student discussion etiquette. I think most of you have done really well with etiquette. I don't think I've seen any rudeness. If you feel that someone has been very rude or something and you think I haven't caught it, feel free to report it to me, send me an email, or just talk to me in person and say, hey, you know, this person said such and such and I found it offensive. Okay, we'll look at that. But overall, this is just a quick tutorial on etiquette. Then we'll play our Jeopardy games to do some review for the quizzes. I know y'all probably want to get that done. And then if we have time after all that, we will certainly jump right into that video. So, first thing we're going to do is watch this film thing.
Why do we hold discussions? Have you ever had an eye-opening discussion in a class that changed the way you think about something? Talking with others about the things we are learning allows us to hear lots of different perspectives. This helps us learn more about what we really believe ourselves, and helps us come to a new and deeper understanding. As we share personal stories with each other, we are taught how to apply true principles into our own lives. Discussions let students teach and learn from each other. This is just one way that we use the principle teach one another for the BYU Idaho learning model. In online courses, we use discussion boards a lot to teach one another. Unlike a discussion in class, online discussion boards are asynchronous activities, meaning not everyone is on at the same time. Here are some tips that will help make our online discussions more useful and enjoyable. Post early. Can you imagine showing up to a classroom to have a discussion and no one else there? How fun is it to talk to a wall? Posting early gives the discussion time to develop. Read others' posts before making your own.
Okay, so a little note on that for all of you. This is a great suggestion, is if you can, and I would do this just to get out of the way, get your 2 video responses, or your 4 video responses, like the 4 main posts, get those out quickly. Get them out day 1 or day 2. 1, that gives your fellow students something to respond to. So it gives you a lot more options. 2, it's one less thing to worry about. So it's, you know, because the video responses are pretty easy. I mean, they're not that hard. So I would knock those out, get them done, and that way you will have a much wider variety of things to respond to. And that just being said, I just want to cover that, because I think some students tend to wait till that last minute. It's like, oh, it's Sunday at 11:50 p.m. I guess I'll send in that response post now. Well, the problem is, if you do that, nobody's going to reply to it. So, yeah, just a heads up. You might want to get the discussions out as quickly as possible. It's just one less hassle.
Again, imagine sitting in a classroom where every student says essentially the same thing. How boring. When you post on a discussion board, you need to make sure that you're not simply repeating the things that others have already said. And the best way to do that is to take the time to read what they've said. Write clearly and concisely. Because you can't see or hear one another in online discussions, you've got to be clear and concise in order to get your meaning across without smiling, eye contact, hand gestures, and other body language. Check your grammar and punctuation. A missing comma can make a big difference. For example, let's eat, Grandpa, or let's eat, Grandpa. Refer to others' posts. Saying things like, Stephanie mentioned in her post that, or I agree with most of Mark's post, but, can help everyone see where you are coming from and helps bring everyone together.
This is another thing that's very important at the college level, is when you're doing reply posts, don't just say, dude, I totally agree, cool. That's a terrible reply, it's a cheap reply, and it's lazy. make sure that you actually address what the person has said in their comment. Whether it's like something about the geography itself, whether it's maybe a statement they made or a personal opinion, address that and say, okay, well, this is an interesting opinion. Be willing to play devil's advocate even and say, yeah, I disagree, and here's why. Don't be disrespectful about it, don't be rude about it, but be okay with bringing up a point. Even if you don't agree with the point you're making, go ahead and provide it and say, hey, to play devil's advocate, what about this side of the argument? You know, that makes the conversation more inviting, more fun, and you're not just throwing out boring replies of, oh yeah, I agree. Because if I see that and I see like a bunch of replies from one student just, yeah, I agree, they're not going to get a great grade. You know, so it's very easy to get a good grade if you're engaging in the conversation. It's like an easy 100, but if not, you know, that can affect the grade. So definitely
In yourself. Sometimes it might be okay to write, I completely agree. However, these posts don't do much to make the discussion deeper or more meaningful. If you want to earn credit and points for a post, you can still start by saying, I agree, or no way. But you should then tell us why you think that way, or ask a new question, or share personal experience, anything that will help move the discussion forward. Be respectful. Remember, say what you mean without being mean. Be civil with each other.
And this can also be sometimes difficult because sometimes arguments get a little heated on discussion boards, especially if any of you are YouTubers or TikTokers and like that, things like that. It can get heated. In this kind of discussion, you don't need to. It's formal, it's at college level. Be respectful. So somebody on this discussion post is going to say something you don't agree with. It's going to happen. Every class, every single year, somebody's going to say something. Somebody may be playing devil's advocate, maybe they didn't communicate that well enough, and it's going to come off as an offensive comment. Be respectful. If you reply, say, I appreciate your opinion, however, and I think this is why you're wrong, or whatever. And you don't have to lunge at them, you have to attack them for any reason. It's a college class. So your goal is not to change them or make them completely different. It's simply to give your opinion in an educated manner. Best way to really refute someone's opinion is provide something out of the book. Say, you know, that's interesting that you make that point, but on page 30 of Finlayson's textbook, she actually makes this point, and I think I agree. There you go. That's like a great comeback. So, yeah, be respectful of each other.
Keep in mind, what you write may come across differently when it's read by others. Following these simple tips can help make for some amazing discussions. Now, go discuss something.
Alright. Yeah, and also remember the fact that all of us come from different beliefs and backgrounds. I mean, I think most of us are in the Christian background, but even it's not as simple as that. We're going to have people who are a little bit more politically left or politically right or politically central. You're going to have different ways of seeing things. That's just how life works. So one of the best ways to communicate with people is to be respectful even when you don't agree. Yes, sir?
No discussion, sir.
Okay. Alrighty, so that being said, are we ready to do some Jeopardy here? So, I'm thinking, let's see, we got, what, 10 people?
Yeah.
Looks like it, so,
11.
trying to think how to do this without making it, I don't want to have too many teams, but I don't want to have too big a teams either. Let's do teams of 3 and we'll let one person be an extra. So, let's see. We'll keep it easy this time. 3 ladies in the back, you can be a team. You 3 can be a team, so
I'll be the extra.
I'll let you 3 be a team, you be the extra this time. We'll swap it up next week.
Nice.
So, alright. Okay, so while we're thinking about this, go ahead and come up with a quick team name, something a little catchy. So, the Yellow Jackets. Team 1.
Let's see if I can find anything.
It's not that hard, guys. Easy
Oh,
team
team
name.
names?
Yeah.
Thruple.
No.
I'm coming up with this name right here, okay?
It has to be pre-planned by all 3 of us.
Cowboy.
Why am I the grown up?
Oh,
It makes a lot of sense. And you have
I'm not saying that in like a waste of screen.
I think we should call this team the Lynx. You know, from Zelda. That's what we're
That
Team is gonna be the Lynx.
That way. Okay. Mario.
I hate that.
Wario.
Not for one letter this too.
Alright, where you got team two?
Look. Let's do something. What is all of you know like? You like
Red Dead Redemption 2.
no, Smash?
I can't stand it. None of them are.
The continents.
The continents,
I have
okay.
no idea.
I mean, that is inventive. Alright, team three in the back here.
For Batman.
Fine, Bat Fam.
The Bat Fam.
You know,
Alright.
y'all put it on the Three Stooges.
I wanna be Batman.
Okay, so, here we go. So hopefully you've all read. So the way that I do Jeopardy is that you must wait until the question has been asked in full. You must wait till I actually end and then raise your hand to answer the question, okay? But you must raise your hand, yes.
Do we have to answer it in, like, what is?
No,
Okay.
you do not. I won't go through that formality. However, I will say this. When you wait for the question and then you raise your hand, if you get it wrong, you can lose points for your team. So it can happen. So I'm gonna do my best. In fact, as a matter of fact, to make this a little bit easier, do you guys mind sitting here? I'm just in the middle, pull up the seat, just so I can see each of the three sides. It's okay, camera should handle it. I'll check it and make sure it's not covering too much. Just so I can see each team clearly when the hands are raised. You see here, this is the way of the camera. Okay, so you are slightly in the way, so I'll tell you what. Move to either the left or the right of these students. No, like either on the left side of her or on the right side of him. Yeah, yeah, sorry. Okay, and McKenna, move just ever so slightly to the left here. There we go, perfect. Alright, this should help me see each team individually, so yeah, I think so. I think I get everyone in my peripheral.
You just gotta turn your head.
Yeah, I'll just kind of do that. Alright, so let's let the Lynx, which are in the middle, go first. So pick a category and points. Remember that the easier the points, the easier the question, and usually the harder the points, the harder the question.
Let's do like geography 300.
Alright, geography 300. Remember to wait till the question's been asked in full, then you may raise your hand. Alright. Completed in 1916 to connect Moscow with Russia's eastern reaches in Vladivostok. This continues to be the most important transportation link in Russia. Looks scary. Yes, sir.
I want to say the Danube River.
The Danube River? No, the Trans-Siberian Railway. Yep.
We got negative points now?
Yeah, make sure that you're careful before answering. Alright, select the continents page.
You're right.
No pressure.
Let's go down.
Culture 200, please.
Culture 200. I love these. Culture 200. Alright, when non-Russian groups give up their ethnic and linguistic identity and adopt the Russian culture and language. This is what it's called. Yes.
I want to say either they call it Russianization or something, or assimilation.
Which one you want to go with?
I have no idea how to pronounce the Russian is whatever. That one.
Okay. Russianization is, I'll give it to you, it's Russification. You were on the right track. If the answer's close enough, I'll give it to you. So Lynx, you got your first, I'm sorry, not Lynx, continents.
Take it.
Yeah, no, y'all will. Alright, good job. Yeah, so Russification. Alrighty, the Lynx, it's your pick because you got it right. I'm sorry, the continents. Wow. Now my brain is all switched around.
History 200.
History 200. A dividing line between the Soviet Union and its satellite states. Yes.
The 63rd parallel.
Okay. The Iron Curtain. The Iron Curtain. Yeah.
Was it the other one you had in mind?
Can we still?
Hmm? No, we're actually gonna let the Bat fan pick one because they haven't had a chance yet, so let's let the Bat fan pick one. Hopefully they'll bring their points back up. Yes, sir.
Culture 100.
Culture 100. A key feature of cultural identity and refers to the identification of a group of people with a common language, ancestry, or cultural history. Yes, sir.
Ethnicity?
Alright. Very good. Ethnicity, the links got it that time. Almost had it back there. So, yes?
Is this on the new chapters for this week?
Yes, 3 and 4.
Oh, whatever.
3 and 4. Yep. You always want to read a little bit ahead because our class is at Tuesday and the week begins Monday. So go ahead and start reading Monday. Get a little bit ahead on there. All right. So links. It's your go.
Economics and such 500.
Economics and such 500. The Soviet government's 2 primary objectives. There have been 2 answers to this. The Soviet government's 2 primary objectives. I'm trying not to look creepy by doing this, but remember, before you answer, you must raise your hand. A lot of silence on this one, so we'll go about 10 seconds and then we'll skip it. Remember, if you don't know this one, a good idea is to write down the question so that when you get the answer, you'll know it for reference. Soviet government's 2 primary objectives. Okay, so it looks like we're all going to want to skip this one?
Yeah.
Alrighty. And that one is a tougher one. So it is 1, to accelerate industrialization and to collectivize agriculture. So if you'd said industrialization and agriculture, I would have taken it. So accelerate industrialization to collectivize agriculture. So what is industrialization? Like what is industrial? What does that typically make up?
Industrialization can be an increased amount of factories in areas.
There you go. It's like factories, automobile manufacturing, coal, all that. What about agriculture? What is that? Yes. Farming. Very good. Exactly. Alrighty. So let's let the links pick one. Oh, the continents? I knew that. Alright, fine. Let's let the continents pick one. I'll get it eventually. I probably won't.
On the last question.
On the very last question.
History 300.
History 300, alrighty. The result of Russia's resettlement policy, which was implemented in the 1940s. This was the result of Russia's resettlement policy implemented in the 1940s. Next week, I may have everyone bring their laptops, and we may allow an open book competition.
What about for those of us who have it?
I don't know how hot it's
Nope. Because all you guys have them, don't think these guys do right now, so.
mouse don't work.
Who all, raise hands, who all has their laptops? Okay, never mind, most of you? Okay.
I don't know if I have the charger for it, and it's pretty low, all things considered.
Yeah, alright. You know what, fair enough. I'll let you open your laptops to your textbooks only. So no games, nothing like that, but to your textbooks. And I will let you use your textbooks and notes to help you
Come
answer.
on, bro. I was hoping to find an Elden Ring.
Gavin, you get it that you like Elden Ring. It's the best game. Elden Ring is, I don't know, I've heard of that. It's not very nice.
Alright, so while you are setting up your laptop service, I'll go ahead and go over this answer with you. The answer is millions of deaths from disease and malnutrition. So when Russia's resettlement policy was implemented in the 1940s, it increased the number of deaths.
Parents don't see it.
So make sure you are at chapter 3 of your textbook. What is amazing is how much of Russia's history is still playing a role even today. So. And the Ukraine, a lot of people think that the Ukraine-Russia conflict is recent. It is not. It has been going on for thousands of years. That long.
Thousands of years.
Yes.
And Russia's been using Ukraine as their top secret operation since the start of the Soviet Union.
How is it?
Well, it's actually been
Turned off.
the West and the East. The West and the East have actually been using Ukraine because Ukraine is located in a very, very vital part in terms of resources and also in terms of its geographic location strategically. And that's why we're going to watch that video, yes.
When you do the question, just leave.
I'll try. Bring the microphone when I see you. Alright, so, moving on. We'll do about, let's see, we're going to get some time for that movie, so we're going to do like 5 more here, then move on to the other one, do a few more there, then we'll get to the film. Alrighty, so let's let the Bat fan pick one.
Haven't even opened my textbook yet.
Just try to figure this out.
Bat fan, go ahead. It's alright if you don't have your textbook open yet.
History 400.
History 400. When Catholic schools were banned and Russia Orthodoxy took over as a part of this larger church group. Yes, McKenna.
Eastern Orthodox.
Okay. Very good. Good job, guys. Those are the links. I almost said the comments, but I got it. I caught it. Awesome. Yeah, the Eastern Orthodox Church is still very much around today. In fact, there's actually an Eastern Orthodox Church, or no, there's a Greek Orthodox Church in Marietta. I was thinking that one. But yeah, the very, very prominent today, several Orthodox branches. Alrighty, so links, you guys get to pick. Doing very well so far.
Terrain 400.
Terrain 400. An area of treeless grassland plains.
It's in great.
Hold on. I'm trying to think who rose it first. I think it was her. Because I saw this flick in my eye right as you were raising it, so I'm going to give it to her. So,
It sounds like the tundra they were.
okay. Steppe. Not quite. Here's what I'll do. I'll give it to you because tundra and steppe are very, very similar. Very similar.
Steppes are just more mountainous, correct?
They're a little bit more hilly and mountainous, but same type of terrain.
I always remember because the steppes are in Mongolia, which is where Genghis Khan was, so...
Yep. Fun fact about Genghis Khan, by the way, the correct pronunciation of his name is actually Genghis Khan, or Chinggis Khan. Yep. Yep, Chinggis Khan. Yep. That's the actual correct pronunciation. I took from a college professor who actually wrote the book, The Mongol Art of War, so he's considered to be one of the United States' leading historians on Mongolia. And fun fact, he also taught a full history class on Star Wars. That was a very fun history class.
I would rather take that history class than the history that
It was literally called Star Wars and Modern Empires, and he literally compared all the lore from Star Wars to how it relates to modern imperial history, which is exactly what Lucas took from.
I want to take that class.
It
I
kinda
even
makes
love
sense.
Star Wars.
So it kind of makes sense if you think about it, because when they originally designed Star Wars, the Empire is originally just space Nazis. Same
Yes,
gear,
yeah.
many of the uniforms are the
The term
same.
stormtroopers were actually the SS Nazis, or the Nazi
Listening
soldiers.
World War I.
Stormtroopers.
It came from World War I originally from the German army by
Yeah,
1914.
originally,
They
yeah.
needed quick striking corps. In fact, the Russians actually made the first stormtrooper corps, and the Germans just improved on it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a fun class. All right. Anyway, moving on. So the last one to get that right were the continents actually, so they get to pick.
That's fine.
Economics and such 200.
Economics and such 200. All right. Total government control where the people have no say in what happens is a common result of this type of economy. Yes.
Communists?
Okay. Communists, very good. Good job, Batman. Alrighty. So, Batman, your pick.
History 100.
Okay. The military race of arms between the U.S. and Soviet Union after World War II, that was this side that came up first.
The Cold War?
Okay. The Cold War.
She didn't wait till after the question.
Well, I didn't catch it. It came up too fast. And
I say we just
technically
fight to
nobody
death for
did,
it.
so
Fight to death, yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Duel.
it is the Cold War. Now, question. When did the Cold War supposedly end? Just, does anyone know, roughly?
1992?
Right around there, right when the Berlin Wall came down. But also, is the Cold War truly over?
No.
No.
Because there are still Soviet countries that are still technically Soviet.
Well, that and the fact that Russia still has spies over here trying to change things, and we still have spies over there, and the fact that NATO and Russia are still at it, Cold War is still very much around. Okay, so we'll let the continents pick that one. And for now, do try to make sure you wait till the end of the question. So,
Geography 200.
Geography 200. A capital that has been intentionally relocated generally because of economic or strategic reasons.
Stalingrad? No, Moscow.
Okay? Forward capital. We're looking for the type of capital, not the name of the capital. So, yeah. Good try, but not quite. Yes, sir?
Isn't an example of that when Rome moved its capital from, I forget what it was, to Constantinople?
Sort of. So when Rome moved its capital to Constantinople, it was actually splitting the empire between East and West. So the Eastern Empire under Rome was under Constantinople, and then Rome was still the overall capital of Rome, the western part of Rome. So kind of, but Russia has actually done that because originally, I'm trying to think, Russia's original capital was St. Petersburg, but it was called something before that. Novgorod was the original capital, and then was moved to Moscow. Stalingrad was a major city, but not the capital, I don't think. Stalingrad was located on the Volga, so it was a major supply city. And that was actually a major battle between the Nazis and Russians in World War II, was the Battle of Stalingrad. Okay, so who got that? Oh, the Bat Fam tried it. Alright, they got that wrong, so we'll let the links pick one.
Terrain 500.
Terrain 500. The reason for the inefficiency of Soviet-driven industry.
The lack of a free market.
Okay. What is the lack of consideration for underlying resources? Not quite. I won't take this one because this one was a very, very difficult one to answer specifically. So specifically it is the lack of consideration for underlying resources. That's still an issue today, which again will be covered in the film. So, alright, we'll do a few more on this one and then we'll move on to the other test. Alright, so I'm going to let the continents pick this one.
Culture 300.
Culture 300, alrighty. When a cultural group adopts the language and customs of another group. Yep.
Assimilation.
Okay.
Assimilation.
Cultural assimilation, very good. Awesome job. Continents, I remember that one. Okay. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. Alright, so you get another pick for getting that one right.
Terrain 200.
Terrain 200, alrighty. Soil that is consistently below the freezing point of water.
The permafrost.
Okay. It is permafrost, good job, alright. The continents are pulling away. Let's see if they can maintain that lead. We'll see, about two more.
We're still in
Yeah.
debt.
Huh?
We're still in debt.
Yeah, you're still in bed, yeah. Alrighty. So continents, pick another one.
Geography 400.
Geography 400. People tend to live on this side of the Ural Mountains where the climate is more temperate.
The Asian side.
A little bit broader. I'll help you out a little bit broader.
Southwest.
Let's see. The west side. Okay, you were on the right track. I was looking for east or west rather than the east side. Yes. I would still give it to you, but I want to see if you caught it. So the west side. Alright, we'll do one more question here and then move to the other one. So, continents, each final pick. I don't think you'll have to worry about losing this one.
Well, no, we need to at least try to
So
get out of it.
Economics 300.
Economics 300. Alright, Russia now ranks as the blank largest economy in the world. Yes.
Fifth?
Sixth. Close. I won't take it from you because it wouldn't help me. It wouldn't make a difference, but it was very, very close. Actually, they are worse now. So this is a little outdated. They're worse in economy now, not because of the Ukraine thing, but because of resources that they have are getting a little rough, and so they're technically a petrograde state country, which means that their economy is mostly derived of gas. And that's what they've so. Right now, I think their economy is not much better than some of the lower European ones. So, alrighty,
Germany's doing good.
we're gonna do the same thing here.
Chapter 4.
Hold on. Oh, sorry. This is chapter 4. So move on to chapter 4. I'm gonna change everything so that my brain works better with it. In the middle team is the links. That would have been the smart thing to do. And then the bat fan.
But technically, we're on this side.
Don't
Not
worry,
from my perspective.
Oh, yeah.
don't worry, I'll just pass
See
off.
the
so you
continents,
can
the
learn
links, the bat
the
fan.
bat
There we
fan.
go.
Yeah, big moon.
Time for history.
Alrighty, so we will spend about 15 minutes or so on this one. We'll try to get through about half of them at least, and then we'll move on to this film. I will be turning the camera off for the film because it is a YouTube video, so copyright, all that stuff, we have to be careful what we show. But I will try to provide a link to this video because it's family safe and very educational. Yes.
Are these Jeopardies available for us to go to like after this class?
Not quite, because these have a lot of the answers to the quizzes, and while I'm okay with doing it in class as in-class study, I feel like having access to them otherwise would be kind of like just having the answer to all the quizzes. So I want you to actually have to go in and read your book, do your studying. So, all right, here we go. So, comments, you won that last game, so you get to do a pick.
Grab bag 200.
Grab bag 200. Here we go. The core commercial area of a typical North American city. So the core commercial area of a typical North American city. Yes?
City. Wait, no.
Is that really going to be your answer?
Urban areas.
I was gonna do
Okay.
it. You should have just done
Oh, wait.
Central Business District. Yeah.
it. Cities aren't urban.
Central Business District.
It's the definition.
Alright. So let's give the links a chance to pick.
Alright.
Culture 300.
Culture 300. The city that was primarily established by the French and became a fur trading outpost. Yes, sir.
St. Louis.
Okay. Quebec.
Oh,
In
that.
Canada. Because remember, this is North America, so this is not just the United States. So, it's actually back
St. Louis is in Louisiana.
right back where they started. Okay.
Right back there.
So, and yeah, a weird thing about the pronunciation of Quebec/Quebec/Quebec is nobody can really fully agree on how it's pronounced. Quebecians often say Quebec or Quebec. Other people say Quebec. Other Canadians say Quebec or Quebec or Quebec, and there's like this big thing over how you pronounce it. I believe the official pronunciation is Quebec. It's Quebec, not Quebec or Quebec. It's Quebec. I think.
British just call it Hayward.
That's fair. Alrighty, so Batman will let you pick one. So you haven't had a chance to pick them all. I'll give you a chance. Yes, sir.
Go for the big money, man.
Which would be?
Let's go immigration 500.
Immigration 500. Alrighty.
I said big
The
money.
Canadian name for the indigenous people of North America. This is the Canadian name for the indigenous. Yes.
That's the
Would
Mexican.
it be Native Americans
First Nations. The First Nations. Yeah. So good guess. Good guess.
I
But
would
yeah.
argue with them.
So this is true. The Canadians typically refer to the original Native Americans as the First Nations because they were technically here first. And this is something that might interest y'all. This goes for African tribes and Native American tribes as well. They often don't refer to themselves as tribes. Sometimes they will for the sake of, I guess, American understanding. But both of those groups often refer to themselves as nations. They were in fact nation states in a way. So not quite as modern as we are, but they so Native American nations and African nations. So. I spoke to I'm friends with a doctor. His name is Dr. Ben. We call him Mean Old Ben because he always acts grumpy, but he's a super nice guy. He's from Ghana, Africa. Super smart dude. He's a neurosurgeon. He does he's got 8 languages. Super smart guy. But yeah, he corrected me on that because he said, well, in Africa, we don't say tribes. We always use the word nations because we are official nations. So I didn't know that because we're taught to say tribes. Alrighty, so let's let the comments go for that. That's a good guess. So I'm gonna let y'all try for one.
So,
In
Environment 300.
Environment 300. Formed from sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide emissions, and they can have damaging effects. Yes, Cece.
Acid rain.
Okay. Very good. Acid rain.
Whoa, that's real?
Yes, it is.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it
Sounds
is.
like straight up in the Nazis.
Alrighty. So comments. You got that right.
Environment 400.
Environment 400. Doing good on environment, so let's stick with it. The part of North America known for its boreal forest of coniferous trees of spruce and pine. I got this group over here raising their hand. So
The Canada, the taiga.
there it is, Canada. I'll give it to you. Taiga, Canada. Same area. Yep. Most of Canada is taiga. So, yep. All right. So continents have come back up. They are currently leading. Links, feel free to play whatever you want.
Y'all took our lead.
They took our lead from 0. All right, continents get another page.
Should go for
Environment 500.
I like to say we know what we're good at. The blank aquifer supplies much of the water to the Great Plains for irrigation. So this blank aquifer supplies. Did you have a hand up or?
No.
Okay. All right, you did have a hand up. All right.
Ogallala?
Okay.
Like, how do you pronounce that?
The Ogallala aquifer, or Ogallala. It might be Ogallala. Oodalala. Golly, what a day. Yes, I explained it just
Yeah.
Alrighty, so continents. You're doing really good so far. Are we going to stick with environment and just cut it out? Okay. Let's say environment's 200. Okay. Groundwater depletion is an environmental concern for farmers, as is this other threat.
think I'm thinking, right? I know it's one. Climate change.
What?
You gotta raise your hand if you're gonna try and answer
Oh,
it.
shit, wait a minute. Climate change.
Erosion, not climate change.
Part of climate change in a weird way.
Not really. Erosion is related to water, not so much the climate. Alrighty.
But water is caused by
Can be in the ice caps, yeah, but it's still wrong. Alright, so, let's see, let's let the links pick one.
Economics 400.
Economics 400, alright. They're hoping they can turn this around on the economics category. The term referring to the overall labor shift from manufacturing to the service industry. But you're raising your hand. Yes, McKenna.
Isn't it deindustrialization?
Okay, it is deindustrialization. Very good. Awesome job. Hey, maybe they can turn around on this category. It's like economics is going to be the links category, and environment's going to be. Alright, so links.
Economics 500.
Oh, he got bold. He's like, hey, we're doing good. Let's just go for the big money. Here we go. A political form of the world's leading industrialized countries that also includes France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, United Kingdom, and the European Union. Yes.
United Nations.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say.
The group of 8.
Are you kidding me?
I understand guessing it, and you're technically speaking, these are all part of the United Nations, but not the
Can you
right
at least
one.
not take away more points?
You know, I'll tell you what, because y'all are suffering quite a bit, and it is a close answer, I'll let you have it and not take away
Praise
points.
the Lord
Maybe that's
Jesus.
fair. Alright.
Praise the Lord.
Alrighty. Let's see here. Let's let the. You know what, Bat fam? You need a extra helper, so you guys get a pick.
Grab back 500.
What did you want? You raised your hand first.
Culture 200.
Culture 200.
Wow.
He's
We
going
need
to
something we have a
I was
chance
trying
at.
to-
Alright, mixing cultural groups to create a more homogeneous culture.
Trying to find this one. Shoot.
So mixing cultural groups to create a more homogeneous. Yes, DC. Okay? A melting pot. Very good. Yep. America is very often referred to as the melting pot.
Isn't that the Caribbean now? So
Not really.
because the American influences from Europe.
I've never heard of it being referred to. It is true that the British Empire came over, and you could argue they mingled, but I think the United States is typically referred to as the melting pot, just because of the so many different cultures here. But it'd be interesting. Maybe it is. You could look it up. I've not heard of it before.
The Caribbean's where everyone had a problem. Dutch, Spanish,
True.
America, France. So it stands to reason that they're more of a melting pot than America because
Very possible.
they've always been colonized by literally everyone. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Creole's more common there, and the languages are French, Spanish,
Yeah.
English, German, Dutch.
It's very possible. I think in terms of just historic reference, the United States has been referred to as the melting pot. It is very possible that there's even more cultural diffusion in the Caribbean. I can see that. Alrighty, let's see. Who got that one right? Oh, y'all got that right. That's right. Alright, so continents, y'all get a chance to pick.
This is gonna be
Environment 100.
Environment 100. Underground layers of permeable rock that holds groundwater.
The aquifers.
Okay?
I was gonna
Aquifers.
say one of them.
It is aquifers. That is not to be confused with aquafina, which is water.
Which is the worst bottled water.
Oh no, I've always.
Aquafina and
Deer
Dasani.
Park for me is one of the worst ones.
That's my favorite.
It has a weird taste to it.
Yeah, I just don't like bottled water.
It tastes like water.
The weirdest thing, the one that I ended up loving, even though I used to hate it, was Smart Water. That's the one I liked. And the reason being is when I just got into it, we were in Death Valley in a camper that had like no air conditioning. So, and we froze our waters in the freezer of the camper, and so there was these big old ice Smart Waters, and I'm just literally holding it like this. And so it's just the best ever. So I've always been loyal to Smart Water now because it's smart. Alright, contents, you get the big one.
What caught me is when they came out with the water that said fat free. I was like,
Really?
How about gluten-free water?
No kidding. Does it also have 0 calories?
That's
weird. It's also lacking in vitamin A, B, C, D, all the vitamins, all the other everything.
It has
It's not-
minerals sometimes.
Yeah, minerals and H2O.
My sister once had a diet that specifically mentioned water was allowed.
I'm really glad that they did, because otherwise that diet would have gotten people killed.
Yeah.
Water's not allowed in this diet. Well, they're dead. So, alright, comments got a big one.
immigration 300.
Immigration 300. Right in the middle. Most Europeans who immigrated to the Americas before the 1750s were this class/position of people. Yes?
Irish?
I
Okay.
want to say middle class.
I think.
Or middle class.
Indentured servants. So we're looking more for a specific type. So,
The Irish are indigent.
yeah, I'm not going to take it away from you, one, because that's not going to help the situation, and two, many Irish were indentured servants.
We already
And the Germans. And the Italians.
Alrighty, Bat Fam, I'm going to let you pick one again.
I want to go with Grab Bag 500 because I'm just trying to make the effort
Alright.
to get a
We're
good
gonna.
Mexican manufacturing plants that take components of products and assemble them for export. So these are Mexican manufacturing plants that take components of products and assemble them for export. Yes, McKenna.
I can't really pronounce
If you're close enough, I'll give it to you.
Bacalara.
Yeah,
Okay.
that thing. Maquiladora.
Yes, maquiladores.
Like
Yep. Very good, Alex. Good job. Maquiladores.
Yeah, no,
Alrighty, Lynx, your pick.
okay.
Man, this one's actually close.
Economics.
Economics 200.
Because of the nerds.
The word referring to areas that have grown so large that it overlaps neighboring metropolitan areas. Yes, we're here.
Megalopolis.
Okay.
Megalopolis.
Yep. Megalopolis.
I actually knew this.
I was
You
gonna
took
say
it from me.
You gotta practice your hand shooting. You're just like, super quick. So we've got a kid in Rutledge, and every time he plays, it's basically over because he is so fast. Nobody beats him on the hand race. Even when someone's like doing this, he'll crazy. So I have to sometimes take it from him. But all right, that is the continent's got that right.
Economics 300.
Economics 300. The word referring to areas where people from the suburbs moved back to the downtown areas, increasing property value and displacing lower income families. Yes?
Urbanization.
Okay. Gentrification. Close. Gentrification.
Yeah, take it from.
It's still very close between the continents and the links. It could go either way. Hopefully the Bat family. So what?
We can still make it.
You can still make it. Let's let the Bat.
Let's make
I'll let the Bat family go for
Culture 500.
Culture 500. Here it is, Culture 500. The amendment that abolished slavery in the year that it was passed. Wait. This is two answers.
Actually, no.
The amendment that abolished slavery and the year that it was
We
passed.
should find it.
Yes.
The Emancipation Proclamation and
You're already wrong.
1864. I think.
It's a
Trying to
type of
find it.
amendment. I won't take points, but I'm going to give it to someone else who wants it. Yeah.
Yeah.
13th Amendment, 1865.
There you
I
go.
hate
Are you kidding me? I hate all of you.
The Emancipation Proclamation was a war effort, a war measure. It was not an amendment. The 13th Amendment came after that in order to solidify what the Emancipation Proclamation was trying to do.
Okay, it's still
Yeah. 13th Amendment came after the end of the, or toward the end of the Civil War. So, big deal. Alright, it was a really big deal when it came out, actually. We, people who were in my history class learned about that whole situation, so I'm surprised you didn't know that. Come
I
on.
do know, I'm not on the emo.
Well, you have to correct them before person.
I am?
That's why you're here, yeah, you're helping them out. You can help them out because they need it now.
That's it. Gavin's no longer part of the family. He's part of the family.
Well, you're the new Robin.
You're the new Robin. He's the new extra.
You're the Jason.
Alright, who's Jason Todd now?
Yeah, you're Jason Todd, so which means we're going to be putting up with this whining all the rest of class.
No, actually, that's Damien. He's in now.
I always found Jason Todd the I mean, he becomes the Red Hood.
Jason Todd's my favorite Robin too.
Red Hood's better than every character.
Jason Todd.
Because he's just so
Alright.
cool.
About the Winter Soldier.
Alright guys, so let's mix this up. Let's let the continents pick one. Continents, you get to pick this one.
That's a long
Wait, what?
story that I can maybe explain after class.
Back 300.
Grab bag oh, okay, I was thinking the home category. There is no 300. Alright. In the US, the blank region has a significantly higher concentration of people in poverty than the entire rest of the country.
I want to say.
You want to raise your hand first.
I want to say, like, where Texas is.
Yes, announce the answer out if it's right or wrong. Yes.
South.
The South?
This is Mexico.
It is the South, yep.
See, you were right and you gave it to me.
You're offending Dixie.
Yep. Sadly, as it even to this day, the South is still kind of the poorest region overall.
Fun fact, if the Civil War were to happen again and the countries were to be split, the new Confederacy, as you could call it, would be equal in economic stature to Venezuela.
Venezuela, bro.
That's sad.
Pretty
It is
bro.
very sad.
But we shoot better than the Yankees. We can try to prove
Well,
it.
hopefully we wouldn't be the new Confederates. And be like, maybe we should learn from the first war.
We can drag it.
Hopefully we won't have another war at all. That would be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be the most preferable solution is just to eventually get over it. Alright, Bat Fam, I'm gonna let you pick one.
Grab
I'm sorry.
400. That is
Well, I'll let them do it. You
Grab
gotta
400.
So what?
Grab for 100.
Grab back 400? Alright. What replaced NAFTA in 2018?
Shoot,
How should
bro.
I know?
I feel like we were just talking about this the other day.
We were talking about Spider-Man in the Civil War. How does that?
No, I mean the other day, not like 2 minutes ago.
Oh.
Shoot, come on. I'm trying to find it.
Replace NAFTA? Yes, sir.
United States, Mexico, Canada Agreement, USMCA.
Okay. The USMCA.
Yeah.
Good job, man. Awesome, man. The Lakes are taking this one away now. All right. This might be an equal win here. All right. So, Congress, you gotta protect your championship. So, Lakes, you gotta pick.
2,000 points.
Yeah, technically we're outraged.
Wait, so what?
Immigration 400.
Immigration 400. The Portuguese were the first to bring slaves from Africa to the Americas in the 1500s. Later, blank dominated the slave trade. Yes.
England.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Wow, we actually
got points.
Yeah. Good job. Yes. Alrighty. So yeah, this is some very interesting history. A lot of people assume that the British or the French were the first to engage in slavery. It was not. It was very much was the Portuguese. So, oh, sorry, that's I saw a hand raised over there. I was like, I'm just seeing things now. All right, Batman, this is your go.
Culture 400. Come on, we're going for all the points.
We're dead.
The term for the expansion of human settlements away from central cities into low-densely car-dependent communities.
Let me say, industrialization for some reason.
What?
Okay, no.
urban
I
sprawl.
was gonna say that. Actually, no.
You may want to let your other teammates answer instead of yourself.
Way to go, Andy.
Yeah, you keep putting us in bad positions.
Alrighty, continents. I'll give you a pick.
I'm bad, man.
Immigration trend.
Not anymore.
Immigration 200.
Yeah.
Alright, immigration into the United States from Central America will continue to be a significant political issue because this problem continues to worsen.
Border control. Again, man, don't say it out loud.
Border control.
CZ, zero.
Undocumented migration kind
Okay, drug crime.
Oh,
That's the biggest crime right now in the border sections.
Hey man, if you want to bring
To this, in fact, it's even worse because it's not just about immigration, but because of the close proximity of where the drug lords live in Mexico and stuff, a lot of their influence and their income, or so what I'm thinking of, commerce actually influences the United States too. So it's like both countries are actually suffering from it. So, alrighty, and both sides interfere in each other's government. Happens a lot. Okay, so Links, I'm gonna let you take a pick.
Culture 100.
Culture 100. Alright, European colonization completely changed the cultural landscape of North America, and the blank indigenous groups were the first to experience the impact of that colonization period. I will say this one's a fairly easy one.
I'm trying to do. I want to say, like.
Yes?
Like the Indian tribes, like
Native Americans. I'll give it to you. Yep. Eastern indigenous groups, but Native Americans, Eastern indigenous groups,
There's
yes.
actually an old Cherokee mine on my property.
I did something right.
Yep.
Wait,
It's a lot easier than it seemed. Yeah. Okay, so Batman?
Grab bag 100.
Grab back 100. An intergovernmental organization that collectively regulates international trade. Yes, we can.
UPS.
World Trade Organization.
Okay. Yep. WTO.
Oh, I thought it was UPS.
Alrighty.
This is why
Links.
there's
You
negative
can
three.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty dumb, honestly.
You think?
Yep.
I couldn't tell.
Economics 100. Alright.
I think you could tell.
Considered to be the most important waterway for commercial transportation. Yes. I'll give it to you. Is that quick?
Mississippi River.
It
I was
is the
right.
Mississippi River.
I was gonna say this is carrier.
It's even 2,000 for the links. All right,
Yeah.
last question. Here we go. Immigration. So for 100, immigration for 100. The country who settled primarily on the eastern coast of North America.
Easter.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Britain, England. Yes.
Technically, though, that's kind of wrong because the Spanish and Dutch were in America first.
Not in the eastern, in the western.
The Vikings.
The Dutch had New
The
York.
Vikings were actually even before
The
that.
Dutch had New York before the English. They had all that area.
Yes, but settled primarily. The question is who settled primarily on the eastern coast. That was Britain and England.
Florida.
So,
Was that in Spanish?
yeah, Florida, Spanish got Florida, Dutch got New York, and then England settled all the rest of that coastline.
And then England said all this was for me.
Alrighty, so we are going to watch a video. I'm going to turn the camera off real quick. For those of you who are watching on the camera, I will try to get a link up soon for this video, but just for copyright reasons, we're going to not show it on the camera. They'll have a wonderful week.